A bag is a bag is a bag, okay? What I mean by that is a handbag is just that, a handbag meant to be used, carried, worn, and it will eventually fall apart. It will eventually disintegrate. No handbag, no matter how beautiful, no matter how long you've been wanting it, no matter how much you've been eyeing it for years. Maybe you've been wanting a Chanel Classic flap since you were 20 years old and you've waited a decade. If it will put financial strain on you, or it will create worry and stress and somehow negatively impact your mental health, then it's not worth it. My recommendation would be to wait or to find an alternative that makes you feel just as nice when you carry it, when you use it. It's practical, it's functional, it's pretty, but it fits within your budget and you can sleep at night. I've always talked about balance. And so this video is not going to be a hate video against luxury handbags or the luxury goods industry. This video is for those of you who are looking to purchase your next luxury designer handbag or your very first luxury designer handbag, and you don't want anyone poo-pooing on that. So what I want to do is I want to talk you through 10 points to consider before you make that purchase. Because I know that when I was starting off, 20 plus years ago, buying my designer handbags when I was a young professional, I would have definitely avoided some mistakes if someone had given me these tips early on. So the first question I want to ask you is, does it really need to be a high-end luxury designer bag? Does it have to even be designer? Now is such a great time for us because there are so many more options beyond the mainstream high-end designer brands. There's so many beautiful brands out there that don't have the huge marketing budgets, and so they're much lesser known, and they're also going to come with less hype and much more reasonable price tags. So I would say open your horizon, open your mind, your perspective to explore other brands out there. Speaking of having affordable options, you guys know I have been a fan of Dossier for quite a while now. I have featured them on my channel for a couple of years, and so when you see me feature a brand over and over and over again, that means that I really, really like them. These are two new perfumes that I picked up. One is Pink Blossom, and it's from their Color Factory collection. This is an original. So this is an original formulation from Grasse, France, where all of the Dossier perfumes are created. And this is another original. I'm really branching out and trying different scents that they're offering that don't have the inspired by. So this is Sage and Black Tea Renew. So this is from their wellness collection. So these two right here smell great. And I also not only use these on my body, but I also spray them around my home when I have guests. It's a nice way to spruce up the scent in your home without spending a lot of money. It's definitely not like a burdensome purchase. So these are a fraction of the cost of designer perfumes. Here's another one that I'm going to try. It's the Aquatic Coconut. I thought it would be interesting because I love coconut, but I've never tried it in a scent, never in a perfume. Now, this was actually inspired by the Beach Walk perfume from Maison Margiela. So if you're familiar with that perfume and you don't want to spend the money on the designer version, you can get this inspired version. So here the box says, iconic scents, designer quality, no markups. It's just really simple, minimalist, no frills in the packaging or the bottle. And so they are saving money direct to consumer. And so we're not having to pay a markup for the extra stuff. We just want to smell good, right? And then I picked up another one of the Ambre Saffron Room Diffuser. You guys may know I love the Baccarat Rouge 540 perfume. My husband had gifted it to me a couple of years ago, but I've never bought another bottle because this smells really similar, and I have it in the perfume version, but also this diffuser. Here's the one I'm using right now. It's in my bathroom, and I just brought it out to show you, almost down, so gotta replenish. Here is the other room diffuser that I chose in Ambre Vanilla. This one here is inspired by YSL's Black Opium, if that's a scent that you like. So everything is formulated with non-toxic, cruelty-free ingredients, so that makes me feel safe about what I'm putting around my body in my home. And they just have a growing collection. There's just so many options, and you can really experiment with different scents and see what works best with your body chemistry. And so that is my point here. You do not have to go the ultra luxury high-end designer name with the label and the extra markup and all the crazy drama that comes with it and the massive pricing. You don't have to do that. I'm not just talking about handbags. Like, look what I just showed you with the perfumes, right? So you can find really nice alternatives that are not counterfeits, that are not fakes or super fakes. I know that's like all over the internet and has been for a while, and I'm not for that personally. And again, if you want me to make a separate video sharing my thoughts on why, happy to. But let's go back to this. So if you don't have a specific bag or brand in mind, I would say branch out. I have so many bags that are not the typical mainstream high-end designers. So let me show you. Like this here, I get so many questions about this bag. I wear it a lot in the summertime. It is just a canvas bucket tote, I guess, but it's cool because it's a bucket bag that has a really nice simple closure. A lot of times bucket bags are just gaping wide open and not very practical. But this is from a Korean website. It's called W Concept, and this brand, it starts with a V. Here it is. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but it's VUNQUE. Vunke? It's big in Korea, but I didn't even know that when I chose this. I just thought it was really cute, and it's light, and it's very user-friendly, and it was affordable. So if you have a certain design or aesthetic or look in mind, then I would say go start browsing and see if you can find some of the off the beaten path brands, if you will. And this way you get something a little bit more interesting, and you'll probably save a whole lot of money. Here's another one. You guys love this one. I love it too. I've had this for years now. When I was traveling in Barcelona, Spain, I did my research, and there was a local little workshop making handbags, and I went and found them in person, and I bought this bag. It looks like a book. I'm an avid reader. You guys know I love books. So I just love the look of this, and nobody really knows this brand. Here's the name of it. And I get so many compliments when I carry this. It's just adorable. Here's another bag. This is from OLEADA. This is one of my favorite little bags because it's the only vanity style that I have, but it also turns into a backpack. I don't have the straps to show you right now, but it's super cute, and it's like multiple different ways that you can wear it. You can get a Chanel vanity. You can get the Loro Piana bag for 1,000 plus, right? But this is definitely much more affordable. It's beautiful pebbled grain leather. This is their own twist on a classic vanity style bag, but they've made it more interesting with adding the backpack straps. So many bags out there that you guys can explore. You don't have to stick to the same old, same old. Let's move through this quickly. Point 2, will the bag last for years? Because unless you're the kind of person that likes to cycle through their bags and sell them off every season because you want the latest and greatest and you're quite a trendy person, that's not me. But if you are, hey, then this won't apply to you. But I think for most of us, if we buy something like an expensive designer handbag, we want it to last for a long time and just make it worth it, right? So if you want it to last, I would say, don't be the first to run out and get like the latest it bag. I'm going to show you. This was my very first Louis Vuitton bag. My OG viewers will know this. This was my entry into LV because I didn't like the brand. For many years, I was resistant of LV and teased my mom for liking the brand until I saw this bag. So sometimes it's the brand that you're drawn to, and sometimes it's an item. And for me, it was this. And I was late to the game. This came out, and then several years went by, and then I bought it. So I knew when I got this, it's because I wanted this bag. I knew it would work for me. It would be super functional. I liked the style. I liked the way it looked on me. I tried it on. Not because it was so hyped and it was the latest and greatest new it bag, because that only lasts for a blip. You guys know how fashion moves very fast, especially nowadays. So sometimes when you see a bag and it's new and everyone's going crazy for it, it's so tempting to go out and just buy it and be one of the first as well. Especially with social media these days, everyone's doing the same unboxings. But I will say that more often than not, it will pay off to be patient and just really take your time and think it through. A lot of times these bags are not seasonal or limited edition, so it's not like it's going to disappear if you wait a couple of months or even a couple of years. This bag is still available at LV, right? And here's another bag that I absolutely adore from Givenchy, and it has lasted me over the years. This is the Mini Antigona. No one really talks about this bag, but it works for me. And I didn't buy it because it was hyped at the time. Again, I was late to this too, I think. I think it was pretty hyped, and then maybe the hype was coming down when I bought it. Some people might say like, oh, this bag is out of style now. I don't care. That's not why I bought it. I bought it to use it, and I still use it. Does that make sense? All right, then we have to talk about this. Do not buy purely based on resale value. That's point number 3. Of course, you may want to consider resale value if you're not sure and you think you might sell it down the road. But I think most of us, when we're buying these bags, we hope to be able to keep them for a long time and just use them until they run down, right? So this bag right here has proven resale value, but I don't consider this an investment. This, to me, it's a thing. That's what it is. It's a thing. And perhaps I can get creative and make money off of this. Maybe I can loan it out and charge a fee, or maybe if I wait long enough and I keep it in pristine condition, I can sell it and, make a lot of money. But if it's used, which it is, and it's already getting, used, you can see that it's getting used. It's not pristine. The stickers are off. I don't keep it in its box. If I try to sell this through traditional consignment, they will take 30% off the top at least. And the market fluctuates. So right now people are not very interested in luxury as much as before. So you might not even get that much. Maybe you'll get your money back, but then you have to factor in time, cost, energy, and inflation. So if you really do the math, sit down and do the actual math, you may be breaking even or losing money. Let's be real. So do not get sucked into the hype on resale value. The same goes for Chanel. Because of the Chanel price increases, all the price increases, and just the hype, people say, oh, a classic flap is a classic forever and you can sell it and make money. There's tons of Chanel classic flaps on the resale market. Go look at Rebag, Fashion File, Yugi's Closet. They are oversaturated. So when they buy your bag from you so they can flip it and make a profit, you're not going to get a great quote. If you've tried it, they're not going to be super generous with you because they are a business and they want to have enough cushion to make money for themselves. So again, unless you have a platform or an audience where you can sell directly without going through consignment, without going through a reseller, it's not a good deal, okay? So I wouldn't put so much value on the resale criteria. I would just buy what you want to use. All right. Point number 4, how heavy is it? Unless you are very strong, have zero back and neck pain, and you do not care about how a bag feels when you put it on your shoulder, most of us don't want a heavy bag because if it's already heavy and you put your items in, it's going to get even heavier. And if you're like me and you live in a city and you walk a lot, then that's just extra weight and that's not fun. So this is the Celine Classic box bag. It's heavier than I expected because it's got layers of lambskin on the inside and box leather on the outside and then this chunky hardware, and it all adds up. I think this is a beautiful bag. If I had really considered the weight of it, after putting all my stuff in, I might have hesitated, okay? So just consider how much weight you are willing to bear. What is your tolerance level? For me, I've said in the past that 2 pounds is my absolute maximum for an empty handbag. And so that's why I got the Chanel Jumbo in the single flap, because it shaved off a few ounces, which put it just under the 2 pound mark, like just under. But if you get the double flap, the traditional double flap, then it will be just over 2 pounds. And so at some point, you just have to draw a line in the sand, right? So if you are looking at a new bag and you are in the boutique, put your stuff in the bag. Most sales associates will encourage you to do that. I've never had a problem. No one's ever balked at the idea, as long as you're careful and you don't scratch or scuff up the bag. Just put your items in gingerly, close it up, put it on your shoulder, and just see how it feels. And if it feels heavy when you put it on, it's going to only feel heavier after being out for an hour or two. There are many people out there who have sold bags that they really liked only because they were too heavy. All right, and then point 5 is how versatile is it? Like the Birkin. We all know the Birkin can be hand carried or a crook of the arm, but that's pretty much it. It's carried by the handles. Some people get creative and they'll add a longer strap. I don't think that really looks right, and I don't think it'll feel right on such a big bag. This is the 30 size gold Birkin with palladium hardware. And I knew that this would not be an everyday bag for me, but still, I look at this bag and am always reminded of how not versatile it is. Sometimes I want to wear this for the color and for the look, but I don't want to have to carry this in the crook of my arm or in my hand because I just want to be hands-free and go. Do you know what I mean? So if you are a very active person and you want to have options in terms of how you carry a bag or wear a bag, you might be looking at something that's a bit different than this. This is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25, but it's the bandolier version, which has the strap. LV even recognized the need for, modern, active consumers to have their hands free. So they added this, which means you can put the strap on, wear it crossbody, and voila. It's very casual, very easy. Whereas the classic one without this, just hand carry or crook of the arm, just like the Birkin, right? So you just want to think through, what am I going to use this for? How am I going to carry it every day? And do I need to be hands-free? I will throw in a shameless plug here because this is my favorite collaboration that I did with Dress Up Your Purse, and I'm just so happy with this bag. So this is the Madison bag that we co-designed, and we thought about versatility so much. So there's a top handle so you can, carry it all dainty in your hand, but then there's the strap so you can wear it shoulder or crossbody. Inside fits all your essentials and every size of phone, even the largest, and it's lightweight. And so I've got these two, my favorite. But there are other bags that are just meant to be carried one way, and that's not going to give you a lot of options. So something to think through. Next, point 6, which is what I just mentioned. Can you fit all of your essentials in there? Here's another Hermes bag. This was my first one, the Mini Eveline, and I actually like this bag more than the Birkin. I've said that since day one, and I've said that when I started shopping with Hermes, I wanted this first, and so I asked for this bag first before even considering the Birkin or the Kelly, which I had. You guys know I had the Kelly 28 and I sold it because it annoyed me to no end. So this is a little bag and it's really slim, but when I tested it, it fit all of my essentials, my daily essentials, like my phone, my card wallet, my keys, and a lip balm, pretty much. Very light, minimalist. But if it didn't fit something that I needed, like a pill box or a glasses case, like if you had reading glasses or something, then this wouldn't be so practical for me, right? So does it fit your daily essentials? That's something to consider. Okay, I don't have the bag I want to show you, so I'm just going to show you a different bag. But point 7 is it too pretty? Don't buy something that's so pretty that you'll be afraid to use it. Now, this is a really pretty bag. I am not afraid to use it. You guys know I carry this quite often. It's the Speedy BB. This was seasonal, so it was limited, no longer being produced. It's lambskin. I think this bag is so, so, so beautiful. The chain is gorgeous, but it's not so pretty that I'm scared to take it out. You know what I mean? The very first Chanel bag that I purchased when I was like 25 years old was this white, like cream colored hobo bag with bright yellow gold hardware. And it was so beautiful, but I was so intimidated by it, not only because of the color, but because it was too pretty. Like, where was I going at that time? So don't get sucked into just the aesthetic unless you're going to keep it on a shelf and just look at it, which means that it's not being used. And so it's kind of a waste in my opinion. Buy something that you think looks good, but also looks good on you when you wear it, when you actually use it. Not something that's just pretty to look at. Because if that's the case, then why don't you just take a picture of it in the store and then you can look at the picture all day and not have to spend your money on it, right? All right, point 8. I don't think I have any bags to show here, but I might insert some photos of bags I've since let go. Point 8 is it too unusual, different, or special? Meaning, is it too out of the ordinary to actually use it on a regular basis? I'm specifically talking about materials. I know that if I had a pearl bag or a velvet bag, which I did once own, I wasn't going to be using that much. So you might want to go with the standard, especially if this is your first designer handbag purchase. Like, go with leather and decide between what kind of leather, like lambskin or calfskin or pebbled versus smooth, maybe box leather if you like smooth. Do you like larger grains? Do you need the leather to be water resistant, meaning that it's treated, or do you want it to be more raw? Just sort of narrow the field that way. Or if you're not a big fan of leather, then maybe canvas or nylon. Coated canvas is pretty durable and I feel like somewhat indestructible. So I wouldn't make your first purchase something that's like too out of the ordinary. Okay, point 9. I don't know if everyone's going to agree with me or not, but I would say look at the size of the logo or the branding in general. If you like pretty prominent logos, then hey, go for it. But I think most of us will eventually get tired of seeing the same logo in our faces. And the same thing goes for like LV monogram. I think for me at least, having a couple of LV monogram is more than enough for me. I don't know that having 20 LV monogram bags will feel any different or special after a while. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same print. So I'm showing you my YSL Toy Lulu here because the YSL hardware is very prominent, especially given the size of this little mini bag. So it's sort of in your face. I think this bag is adorable, but this has stopped me from buying any more YSL bags because the ones that have hardware, they all pretty much look like this. And so even if the bag itself has a different style to it or a different design and look to it, this is what stands out the most and is kind of dead center of the bag. And so I don't feel like really wanting another bag that has this vibe. Does that make sense? So over time, I think the more hardware, the more logo, the faster potentially you would get tired of it. So that's something to consider as well. Whereas something a little bit more discreet maybe, where it's like very subtle, very big difference, right? These are all just tips from my own personal experience and of course my own personal biases and preferences. So the ones that don't apply to you, just throw them out the window and just take with you what makes the most sense. I'm just trying to be helpful if you are trying to make a decision here because you don't want to waste your money with a rash decision. Point number 10, I would urge you to consider once again is, will this purchase create any type of financial stress or strain in your life? Will it negatively impact your mental well-being? Because if the answer is yes or maybe, it is not worth it. No material item of any kind, whether it's luxury or not, whether it's a handbag or not, is not going to feel good if every time you look at it, you're like, oh, that put me in debt, or that made me worry about paying my bills, or that actually prevented me from saving enough money for my future, or do you know what I mean? But I will close out the video here because I think this was a longer one than usual. If you found it to be helpful or interesting in any way, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down below. And are there any other criteria that you use to decide whether or not to make a purchase? Let us know in the comments down below and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.